Good morning, everybody, from Midlife Travel Tales. How are you, my honey?
I'm all good, my honey.
My honey. It's a bit of a catchphrase now on the channel. I call Cindy my honey often, and some people have started making fun of us about it, but others thought I was calling her Muhani, which is a Malaysian name.
Yeah, so that's my new name, Mahani.
Muhani. So Muhani and I are having an awesome time, and today we're going to do 19 points on things we should have known before we travel to the awesome country of the Philippines.
And hopefully these things will help you when you travel to the Philippines.
Yeah.
So let's go for it.
Number one.
Number one is Philippines is way more, well, not way more, but it's definitely more expensive than most of the other Southeast Asian countries we went to.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole lot of factors. In the Philippines, you tend to get charged for a lot for the little things.
Yeah.
Like your goggles.
Goggles and the shoes for the water or canoes.
And access to a beach.
You get, whereas in Thailand and other places, we didn't find that you had to pay extra for those things.
So you book a tour and then you're paying for the goggles, you're paying for the shoes, you're paying for the kayak. There's a whole lot, and every little place you go to, you end up having to pay for.
And also there's port fees. So when you arrive by ferry, you have to pay a fee at the port, which we never had to do in any other country.
And also the other funny thing is, like, we arrived on Coron and our hotel suddenly charged us a whole island fee, which wasn't in any of the bookings or anything. So I don't know what goes on, but there seems to be a lot of
other
money.
So factor that into your budget when you plan.
That is a little, but not terribly, but it is more expensive. Yeah. Number two
is we don't recommend staying in the big cities like Manila or Cebu because there's traffic and it's congestion and chaotic.
Yeah, like we had an 8-hour layover in Manila, and we said to some local people we knew, and we said, we're going to go sightseeing for those 8 hours. They said, you might not get back to the airport.
Yeah.
You might get stuck in traffic. So just be aware, it's not that easy to get around the big cities.
Yeah, so maybe also just factor in not leaving the airport and missing your flight.
Number
three is one thing we found with Philippines is they are so friendly, the people. They were amazing.
Probably the friendliest people in Southeast Asia, which is saying something because the people in Southeast Asia are friendly.
And also so helpful. Like you can be standing on a street corner looking lost and they'll say, can we help you?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. We got invited for Easter lunch. We got taken out for dinner. People were just making friends with us. It might also be the language, English.
A lot of English is spoken.
Yeah, a lot of English is spoken.
A lot more than the other countries.
Yeah, but the local people, the Filipino people, made an effort to become our friends.
Yeah.
Which we didn't always find that in other countries.
Yeah,
we made the effort, so it was great.
Very friendly. Number four is transport. So in the Philippines, there's something like 7,000 islands or maybe even more.
A lot of islands.
So you need to really plan where you want to go so that you don't make a mistake like we did.
Yeah, so you got to plan very carefully. You can plan on the fly, but the difference between Cindy and I, she likes to book far in advance.
Yes.
I like to do things on the fly, and we made a mistake in the Philippines.
Because we had booked far in advance.
We had booked far in advance, and then we decided while in the Philippines we wanted to go to Bohol.
Yeah, so we had booked to fly from Puerto Princesa to Manila and to the next country. And then suddenly we decided, oh no, let's go to Bohol because someone said it's nice. So then we flew to Bohol, but we could have flown directly to Manila from Bohol, but we had to go back to Puerto Princesa and then Manila, which was a waste of money.
Really get an idea of what you want to do. But Cindy's advice would be to plan carefully. My advice is don't plan everything too far in advance because we heard of other amazing places to go while we were in the Philippines and we were unable to go there because we were kind of trapped in our thing, and there are big distances in the Philippines, and there are costs. Yeah.
So you can fly or you can catch ferries between the islands.
Yeah. The flights weren't too expensive.
The flights were not that. I would always compare the prices because the ferries were quite expensive compared to other ferries we had caught.
Yeah, look, very organized ferries though.
Very organized.
Very different to other places.
Yeah, very different. But look at the flights as well because it's way quicker than catching a ferry.
Yeah, like I saw a thing the other day. It's 32 hours on a ferry from Coron to Manila.
Yeah,
it's crazy,
So just compare the two, and also sometimes if the weather's really bad and you booked a ferry, then your ferry gets cancelled.
Yeah, and the seas can be bad there.
The seas can be quite rough there. Seasickness tablets too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number five.
Number five is there was not really any big street food market type places like in Thailand and other places,
Yeah. So one of the things we learned there is you probably can't eat everywhere. Like in Thailand, you can literally eat off the streets. from any store. So in Philippines, you've got to be a little bit more careful where you decide to eat.
Yeah. And there's one thing we did find, there's a lot more Western food in Philippines.
It might be the American and
there's a big American influence, definitely, a lot more than other places we've been to.
But the thing I need to mention, some people have said Filipino food's not great. I loved Filipino food.
Yeah.
I think Filipino food, Filipino food we had
we
amazing.
Liked it, yeah.
So where other people said Philippines, the food's not great, it's amazing. And we did a lot of Southeast Asia, and the food was amazing.
It really was. It was good. And also, another interesting fact is that in the Philippines, it's the only country in Asia that doesn't use chopsticks.
How interesting is that?
Yeah. And just throwing in the American influence, is basketball is everywhere.
Jeez, basketball is huge.
It's huge there.
Yeah, everywhere you go, there's people playing basketball. And they not the tallest people. I'm sure there are tall Filipino people, but everybody just loves basketball, and they're very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
So number 6.
Number 6 is when you're booking your accommodation, you definitely get less value for your money than in other Southeast Asian countries.
Although Bohol, we had a great thing, but some probably on Palawan.
We got a free upgrade.
Yeah, we got a free.
So that's probably why.
Thank you, Ernie.
But generally, the accommodation is the value for money is not as great as elsewhere.
No, definitely. Yeah, our standard wasn't quite what we got it in. Vietnam is the standard's very high. Yeah.
Okay, number 7.
Number 7, yeah.
Number
if we get
7.
mixed up, please help us out.
Scooter rental. So we hired a scooter quite a lot. It's quite easy to drive around.
Can I tell you, drive around there, probably not in the big cities, but everywhere else, scooter was easy to get around. The people they drive well. It was very pleasant.
The roads were not too bad.
Coron, you got to be a little bit more careful because it is a little bit more off-road.
Yeah. But you'll notice a lot of the scooters are actually they have
reinforced.
They're reinforced with bars.
That was on Coron, yeah.
And what else did they have? They had
bars,
they were just really big thick tires as well.
Big thick tires on Coron.
So they made for it.
But the thing in the Philippines that we did have, where we had nowhere else, was flat tires.
Two.
So you'll see in the videos me pushing bikes.
So always check your tires.
Yeah, always check your tires.
And you probably pay about 250 to 400 pesos a day for the scooter rental.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad at all.
No, it wasn't.
And good scooters. It was good scooters. So we had fun on our scooters.
Yeah. Okay, number 7.
Number 8. Is it number 8? Number 7?
Okay, free water. So in the Philippines, unlike also other countries, you get a lot of free water in the restaurants. You don't have to buy water.
Yeah.
So you just make sure when you sit down, don't order water if it's free. Then which in most places it is.
Yeah, and it's we drank the water in the Philippines. It was fine. We didn't get sick once.
And this flows into our next point, number
9,
which is by using less plastic with water in that, they are a lot more environmentally friendly in the Philippines.
Can I tell you what? The Philippines, in terms of plastics and pollution, is probably, in the areas we went to, one of the cleanest countries so far. And also, there are lots of signs reminding everybody, no plastics, no. And
they're very good.
The snorkeling we did there and the sea, everything was clean. It was amazing.
A lot cleaner than some
places.
places.
Commendation to the Philippines. You're doing well environmentally.
They really
so
are.
far. Yeah.
They really are. In the next one,
number 10
is they drive on the right hand side. So
the same as the Americans.
Yeah, if you
the left hand cars.
Yeah, so it was quite different.
Yeah, so if
from
you're
the
coming
rest of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, so if you're coming from South Africa or England or Australia, it is a little bit getting used to. But we've
for us it was like being back home.
Yeah, for us. No. Opposite to back home.
Oh, sorry, opposite to back home. Like not being back home.
And you've been traveling too long.
All these countries are flowing in. And the other thing is this is the next point.
Yeah.
When you are on a scooter, just be careful because we found a lot of stray dogs just lying in the middle of the road and they don't move. They do not move.
Yeah. So on the stray dogs, on Palawan, they were okay. Coron, the state of the stray dogs is very bad.
Yeah,
so Coron, just be aware that you're going to be hit in your senses by stray dogs. Yeah. But on Bohol, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot better.
We didn't see many stray dogs at all. So it depends where you go in the Philippines. You will encounter what we consider badly kept dogs. Yeah. Well, not kept.
Well, stray dogs.
Yeah.
So that wasn't very nice for me.
But on Bohol, it was great.
And then the next one is number
12 or 13.
Okay, it is the island hopping tours. So you can book those either through your hotel, or you can book it through booking online through an agency, or you can just go down to the beach and you can find someone on the beach and you can book through them.
Yeah, and the you can negotiate.
Yeah.
So you can negotiate. They're a little bit less negotiable than other countries, but you can negotiate.
A little bit.
So always remember in Southeast Asia, try and negotiate because
because definitely the tours are more expensive in Philippines than elsewhere.
yeah, definitely more expensive. And but I have to say, the tour we did in the Philippines on Coron Island, the lunch they gave us
Yeah, their food was
is
amazing.
probably the best lunch I've ever had on a tour. And we've done a few tours, but it was usually in Thailand you get rice and chicken. On Coron, there was a whole choice. Yeah, and even the tour we did in Port Barton, it was amazing, the food. So
that definitely is a
they do food
bonus.
better.
All right, number 12, I think, is we just some suggestions as to where to go in the Philippines because it is so big.
Yeah.
So Palawan is obviously a main one I think a lot of people know about.
So
and
Palawan is kind of called the last frontier.
Yeah.
So it's a big island and there's lots of different places you can go there.
Yeah, the main ones we went to Port Barton. Puerto Princesa first.
Well, Puerto Princesa, there's the underground river there. Then Port Barton, which is amazing.
We love Port Barton.
I've been reading about one just north of Port Barton as well called San Vicente. We didn't get there, which I believe has also got beautiful beaches. We went to El Nido, which was...
Some people will love it. It was just a little bit too busy for us.
It's a party place. Yeah. So if you're into that, that's fantastic. Coron, we spent too much time on Coron. But if you're a diver, Coron is heaven.
Yeah.
So if you've got your diving certificates and all that, Coron is heaven, but it will cost you.
Yeah, and then you can. Sorry, what were you?
And then Bohol.
Yeah, then you can fly to Cebu and you can catch a ferry across to Bohol to go and see the Chocolate Hills, which we did. Or you could also go to Siquijor.
Siquijor is south of Bohol, and then there's also Siargao,
which is for if you like surfing.
And even on other islands, we've heard people have had amazing experiences. All the different because there's so many different cultural influences in the Philippines. There's so many different places, so do your research. You know,
the one place we did want to go and we never got to was the Balabac Islands, which is very south of Palawan, but not easy to get to.
Yeah, you got to go on an organized tour. We tried, but we got
it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it was too late.
Yeah.
And it is expensive, but it is so worth it. It's probably one of the lost untouched paradises.
But I think it's gonna start getting more touristy and more busy.
But Philippines, definitely, I want to go back because there's just so much to see.
Yeah,
I don't know if Cindy with the dogs battled a little bit, but she loved the people.
Yeah, no, I would go back.
Yeah,
I would go back. Okay, the other thing a lot of people probably wonder is how safe is the Philippines? Well, we didn't have any problems, especially coming from South Africa.
Yeah.
Everywhere there's safe for us.
Well, look, in Puerto Princesa for the first time in Southeast Asia, we saw bars on windows.
Yeah.
And we did see shops with chicken wire in that. So be aware there is probably a little, and then on Nakpan Beach we got warned about a bit of petty crime.
Yeah.
So there is crime.
But we didn't feel unsafe at all.
But you never feel unsafe.
No, you don't.
It's like we know all about feeling unsafe in South Africa and that.
In Philippines, no.
Philippines, nothing. Yeah. So really awesome people.
Okay, now next one is the Wi-Fi. The one for Wi-Fi in
it's
Philippines is not that great compared to other countries in Asia.
Yeah.
It's very spotty and it's not very reliable.
Yeah, it's definitely not as strong in that. Yeah.
So just be aware of that if you need Wi-Fi for work or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is about when you book a place, if you want to be near a beach, just make sure, because there's a lot of places that actually don't have proper swimming beaches. You have to catch boats to go to them.
So you can, like we booked on the island of Coron, Coron City. There's no beaches. The beaches are all on the islands around.
Which you have to catch a boat to.
Which you got to catch a boat to. You go to some towns that are on the coast and there's no beaches. So you really got to do your research.
Yeah.
We learned that the hard way. That we were at places and there's no beaches, and you've got to travel 20 minutes to get to a beach.
Or you've got to catch a boat, because most of Palawan is about the boat tours.
Yes, and the diving.
The diving and going out on tours all day. So, yeah.
But that's where Port Barton was really nice. I believe San Vicente is really nice on that.
Yeah.
Even El Nido wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't too far, you know.
But Coron, we battled to find any beaches on the actual.
Yeah. So even Bohol, you got to go in search of the beaches. So
just be aware of that.
Be aware of that. Yeah.
All right. If you find a good restaurant, we found stick to it. Don't go running around looking for another one. If you find, I think we ate 7 nights in a row in the same restaurant.
I promise you, if you find good food and at a reasonable price, and I've said this on other videos as well, stick to it. Rather experiment on the menu rather than experiment on the restaurant.
Absolutely. Okay. Also, we found we needed to carry cash with us, so just be aware of that. Always carry cash. Not many places do take a credit card, and if you do use a credit card, they're going to charge you up to 4% extra to use a credit card. So, good idea to have cash with you.
And how was the ATM situation? We battled every now and again to find ATMs.
Yeah, just remember to try and draw cash early in the morning if you're on kind of islands.
Yeah.
Because, it's all islands.
It's all islands.
But it's you find a lot of the times at the end of the day,
the
or
tourists
at the end of the week,
drawing the money.
There's no money left in the ATM.
Yeah.
So just draw your cash early in the morning.
And the other thing, do your research on for your country or whatever, which is the least bank charges.
Yeah.
So that's what Cindy always does for us. Big thing because it can add a lot of money.
Can add up, yeah.
Yeah. So the bank charges on your
that.
ATMs. Yeah.
So the last point is just be aware they use tricycles to get around and
when we say tricycles, it's not tricycles on the bicycle. It's tricycle engine. Like a tuk-tuk tricycle. Yeah.
But I found they were very uncomfortable in the Philippines. You had to sit. Where I sat was like it had like a covering.
I couldn't fit in where Cindy sat, so I got the more comfortable spot. But
it's not the most comfortable.
But they do have beautiful buses. Their buses are like the best in the world. Probably not comfort-wise, but beauty-wise.
Local transport.
There is another version of the tricycle, like what we would call a tuk-tuk.
And there's grab taxis in the bigger cities.
Yeah,
Manila and Cebu, and that you can
grab
there are grab taxis.
Yeah.
So that's our points. I think it's 19.
Yeah. And in the background, you can hear the dog we house sitting at a house, and that's the dog barking.
Oh, gosh.
But we hope that helped.
Yeah.
I encourage you, go to the Philippines. It is amazing. Do your dive course there. I dived on the Japanese wrecks. Japanese wreck. It was amazing.
We did some different things there from the other Southeast Asian.
The corals were amazing. The people are amazing. I like the food.
Yeah.
So
we would recommend
it. We really recommend the Philippines. And to all the Filipino people watching this, you guys have a beautiful country. And thank you for having us there. Okay.
Yeah. Well, good.